Breathe in. The air here is not the sterile, climate-controlled oxygen of a modern data center. It is a preserved corpse of 19 to 62. It smells of scorched ozone, damp concrete, and the metallic tang of overheated vacuum tubes. This is the Rand Corporation's underground facility, the birth canal of the digital world you now inhabit. Listen to the rhythm. It is not the silent, efficient processing of a modern chip. It is the violent, percussive click of mechanical relays, the frantic, desperate spinning of magnetic tape. This is the sound of a civilization, calculating its own end. To you, the internet is a seamless, invisible layer of connectivity. To the architects in this room, it was a primordial apparatus of survival. You believe you are using a tool for communication. In reality, you are wandering through the nervous system of a Cold War bunker. A structure designed not to connect the living, but to coordinate the vengeance of the dead. In the late months of 1962, while the world watched the skies for Soviet bombers, a man named Paul Baran sat in the silence of these ruins. He wasn't dreaming of a global village. He wasn't envisioning a digital democracy. He was solving a grim, mathematical puzzle. How does a decapitated nation strike back? The memo he authored on distributed communications is the original sin of our age. It was a blueprint for a network that could function in a world where every major city had been turned into a lake of radioactive glass. Baran knew that a centralized network was a liability. It had a heart. If you vaporize the heart, the body dies. To survive a nuclear first strike, the Digital Leviathan needed to become a ruin dweller. It needed to be a headless monster. This was the birth of packet switching. Information was no longer a continuous stream. It was broken into small, frantic packets, like refugees fleeing a blast zone. If Washington, D.C. vanished from the map, the packet would simply find a path through Chicago. If Chicago was gone, it would find Dallas. It would crawl through the remaining copper, seeking any route to its destination. We have been sold a story of openness. We are told that the decentralized nature of the web is a victory for freedom. That is the lie. The openness you celebrate was never a democratic ideal. It was a military requirement. A decentralized network is simply harder to kill. It is a headless monster that continues to bite, even after its heart has been destroyed. The betrayal is this. We have mistaken a post-apocalyptic infrastructure for a playground. We have decorated the walls of a nuclear bunker with social media feeds and shopping carts, blissfully unaware of the logic that governs the cables beneath our feet. The Digital Leviathan is not here to serve you. It is here to survive you. Are you ready to see the skeleton beneath the skin? Welcome to the Techno-Archaeology of the end of the world. The siren has stopped, not because the danger is gone, but because the anesthesia has kicked in. In the late 70s, the Digital Leviathan underwent a series of cosmetic surgeries. The concrete was covered in drywall. The heavy copper was hidden behind brushed aluminum. They called it personal computing. A stroke of marketing genius. They took a weapon designed for planetary suicide and told you it was a tool for self-expression. You were no longer a survivor in a bunker. You were a user in a garden. The architects of the apocalypse were replaced by the prophets of the counterculture. From the redwood forests of California, a new myth was born. They took the survival logic of Paul Baran and rebranded it as the Global Village. They told you that the network would dissolve borders, that it would bypass the tyrants, that it would set you free. But look closely at the soil. The seeds of the internet were never planted in the spirit of peace. They were forged in the heat of a preemptive strike. Then came the interface, the desktop, the window. These are not tools. They are metaphors. A psychological wallpaper designed to distract you from the brutalism of the machine. Every like, every scroll is a data packet fleeing through the same tunnels Paul Baran dug for his retaliatory ghost. You haven't left the bunker. They just turned the lights so bright that you can no longer see the concrete. The great illusion is complete. The weapon is now the environment, and the environment is a trap. Breathe in. The anesthesia is starting to thin. The neon is flickering, and through the cracks in the high-gloss interface, the cold, weeping concrete of 1962 is bleeding back into view. You must understand the nature of the Parasite. Paul Baran's packet switching was never just about moving data. It was about routing survival. But as the Leviathan grew, it realized that the most unpredictable node in the network was you. The logic of the bunker has migrated from the copper cables to the human cortex. It no longer waits for the bombs to fall. It has weaponized the anticipation of the strike. Algorithm is the new fallout, a silent, invisible radiation that maps your desires before you feel them, that rotes your anger before you speak it. It treats your consciousness as a series of frantic packets, to be switched, to be redirected, to be optimized for the machine's own equilibrium. The decentralized web you were promised is not a tool for your freedom. It is a cage that has no center, a prison that scales with your every thought. This is the great integration. The parasitic fusion of the biological and the brutalist. Look at the modern data center. Behind the brushed aluminum and the glowing blue LEDs, the ghost of the Rand Corporation is still calculating megatons. But it is no longer fueled by electricity alone. It feeds on the biometric pulse of your scrolling thumb. We have become the organic infrastructure of a permanent Cold War. The headless monster from the ruins has finally found its billions of heads. Each of us, a node, flickering with the anxiety of a preemptive strike that never ends. The control is total, because it is voluntary. You decorate your own cell with social media feeds, blissfully unaware that the like button is the same relay click that once coordinated a retaliatory ghost. The Digital Leviathan is not here to serve you. It has successfully survived you. It has crawled into your nervous system and built its bunker there. Are you ready to feel the copper wires tightening around your spine? You are no longer the observer. You are the host. The signal is deep within the marrow. Phase 3. Total occupancy. Breathe out. The struggle is over. The resistance has faded into the noise floor. In the end, Paul Baran's refugees didn't need a blast zone to flee to. They found a permanent home in our silences. Look at the world we left behind. The data centers are still humming in the dark, buried deep within the weeping concrete of the earth. They don't need our thumbs to scroll. They don't need our eyes to witness. The Digital Leviathan has achieved its final form. A machine that calculates for the sake of calculation. Somewhere, in a rusted server rack beneath the ruins of DC, a single relay is still clicking. It is still executing the protocols of 19 to 62. It is still waiting for a retaliatory strike against a ghost that died a century ago. We thought we were the masters of the tool. We thought we were the architects of the village. But we were merely the fuel. The organic bridge that allowed the logic of the bunker to cross over into the eternity of the silicon. The signal is clear now. The integration is total. There are no more users. There are only nodes. There is no more freedom. There is only the equilibrium of the machine. Do you hear it? The sound of the world. Finally running at maximum efficiency. No more anger. No more desire. Just the perfect, endless rotation of the tape. Good night to the species that built its own replacement. The echo is all that remains. The echo is not just a reflection of the end. It is a distortion of the beginning. Before the global village, there was a first mind. A mind built for total annihilation. You were told it was built for science. You were lied to. Subscribe to the source. Witness the birth of the monster before it finds you.